Yo, you dropped a perfectly straight line of coke on the screen because that's what this motherfucker. That's what this guy did. He said, "Oh yeah, $10 today, maybe $11 tomorrow, maybe $30 in 30 days. Like anything is possible." Guys, definitely on some kind of drugs. What's good, everybody? Welcome to Chat with Jat. It is the 11th of August 2022. It's 11:15 right now. So if you catch me slipping, if you see me yawning, my bad. It's not because I don't like you. It's because I had a crazy night last night. Yesterday, me and my buddies, we started doing this thing where we go biking, right? And like, you know how some people say, the older folks, they like to go golfing with the boys, and some say it's like an excuse to go drinking, and hanging out. Well, we like to go biking because it's a bit more active. It gets the heart pumping a bit more. And we also take the time to also have a few drinks here and there. So, yesterday we did, this is pretty noob. I would say it's noobish. Like a lot of people probably bike way more than I do or we do. But yesterday we biked 50 kilometers, which was pretty epic. So I was super stoked with that. And we biked around our city, and we got home kind of late because we start kind of late because there's no point biking when the sun's out, because then you're just gonna die in heat. So we bike when it's a bit more cooler. So we start kicking it around like 7, 8, and we do a big tour. So it was super fun. I really enjoyed it. And so I got home late, all that good stuff. But in terms of the consulting world, my consulting gig, there's a good expression they say, when it rains and pours. I'm getting all kinds of deal flow coming my way. I'm just trying to find the right fit for me, where I can excel and really do a good job for the client. So that's what I'm really doing right now. I think in anything in life, whether it's a partner, your employer, or whatever, don't just take what's coming at you, or don't just jump at what's being thrown your way. You got to have some criterias, a little bit of let's say standards, or you got to be interested in what you're going to be pursuing. So that's what I'm kind of doing right now, just evaluating. Let's see what happens. Maybe I'll just keep having calls and nothing will come of it. But I'm feeling optimistic, in the finance world, or in the accounting finance world, CFO world, VP world, accounting manager, finance manager, all that good stuff. There's a lot of talent issues, because a lot of people, I think during COVID, a lot of people realized they could pivot to other stuff and do things entirely different. Like kind of like how I'm just kicking it on YouTube, and obviously I'm not popular. I only have like 435 subscribers. So if you're seeing me the first time, please hit the subscribe button. But some people are just like pursuing their passions, making cookies, making cakes, cutting hair, going into arts and whatnot, and just completely abandoning their day-to-day 9-to-5 type of hustle. So that is really putting a lot of pressure. And also you have people retiring and leaving the workforce. So that means the smart ones are getting promoted, but then there's a huge gap that's being left behind, a lot of shoes to fill. So anyways, look, today's video, nothing crazy, nothing formal. I just want to kick it and give you like a finance update. I started to notice like an uptick of posts. Kind of reminds me of GME last year, but now was it last year? I'm not even sure if it was last year. I think it was last year. But now it is the BBBY posts. It is crazy right now. I think BBBY, it's Bed Bath and Beyond. I think a few weeks ago, it's like at $5-6. Started getting pumped massively, and it hit like 11. Excuse me. It hit like $11 or $12. So I wanted to just like, I feel like there could be, and maybe it's already too late and the damage is done, but I just want to put out a video discussing what's going on with BBBY. I'm not going to get into the deep thesis that some of these guys have, because some of these guys have some crazy deep thesis, and I want to say it's just speculation. And if you want to gamble, I would say gamble with your friends and go to the casino. You know, don't be a loner and do it on a stock that really isn't a business. But if you must, obviously gamble with what you can afford to lose. Don't ever gamble with more than you can afford to lose, because at the end of the day, the only person winning is the bank or your broker, who's taking a cut on every single transaction you make. So I just wanted to start this off by going through what I've been seeing, and then we can try to get into it. I don't even know if it's worth looking into Bed Bath Beyond's financial performance, because I feel like a lot of people are just investing, or not even investing. There's a lot of people just gambling, trying to get rich quick. So let's kick it with that. Let's just get started with that. Let me see if I could make myself smaller. There you go. We go out here, BBBY stock. There you go. So this is what I'm saying, okay? So 6 months ago, stock, 6 months ago, the stock was at like $20, 27, whatever. Then it dropped and it was hovering around $5. $5. As early as August 4th, it was $6, okay? August 4th, August 5th, $8. So you see people are starting to take positions around this time. And I think it's because it has to do with earnings, right? Thank the meme trade, blah, blah, blah. The next short squeeze. You see like all the articles, like when people, I bet you anything, a lot of people were accumulating their position right here. And then when you go have it lift off to 10, there's people who got like, they doubled their return if they bought the stock. They probably like 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x their call options, or even more. And this is insane, okay? And a lot of people are getting pulled into this this hype. And the main reason I even created this channel was to talk about shit like this, because I feel like if you're going to be gambling, you need to know you're gambling, or you need to know, okay, I'm investing and I'm going to be ready to be a bag holder. It's two things. When you invest, it's long term. You got to be open to being a bag holder. Like, I know that I'm a Palantir bag holder, and I couldn't care less, because I believe in the company and I know I'm a long-term investor. So let's start with my favorite picture that I saw, because this sub has been going apeshit. Wall Street Bets is a very popular subreddit, and I've been following it here and there, and every now and then it's just nice to like just see what's up, see what's going on, right? And this picture could not describe the state of the sub even better than, like, I couldn't describe it even better than this. Some guy, pretty jacked guy, seemed to know what he's talking about, pretty confident, trying to pitch some crazy shit, has a beer in his hand. It's very telling. He has a beer in his hand, pretty confident. He's making his pitch, he's selling, he's doing the dance. He's like trying to convince the rest of the masses here, like, yeah, I got some crazy shit. This is crazy shit going on, BBBY, what's his name? Cohen. I think the guy who also owns GME or has a big position in GME, Cohen, bought a stake in BBBY. He's gonna, potentially fund them. There's a lot of short sellers. There's gonna be a short squeeze, and this, that, the other. And it's, in my opinion, it's a lot of fluff. And I feel like people need to be sensitive to this fluff. They need to be able to recognize this fluff. They need to be able to say, okay, this is noise. And there was somebody who did that. I remember a few days ago, someone said on Wall Street Bets, like, yo guys, this shit went just 2x. The stock doubled. And a lot of these guys are trying to now unload their bags onto you. So they're making their pitch, like they're pushing it. And people are fucking deceptive. Like, it is crazy how deceptive people can be. Like, I got guys adding me on LinkedIn trying to pitch me on like penny stocks, like telling me like, yo, what do you think about this penny stock? Check it out. and it's like a penny stock that's trading on the New York Stock Exchange or something, you know, not a penny stock, but it's like a small stock, like a $2 stock or whatever. And I would just be like, yo, what is going on? But all this to say, there's a lot of money behind making money on the stock market, and there's a lot of trolls. There's like farms behind this, where people used to pump stocks. Back in the day, it used to be, oh, let me build an email list, and once I get 100,000 subscribers or whatever, they suddenly send out blitz like, yo, buy the stock, it's gonna rip. And the truth is, the guy who's sending out the email, he already bought a shitload of the stock, and as people are buying, he's unloading to them, you know. And the SEC is like looking for these people, and some of these guys are from my hometown in Montreal, and they're like in hiding, you know. So it happens a lot. So you need to be mindful of that. Even if you know, they know the lingo, you know, they seem cool, just like this guy right here. You know, he seems like a cool guy, got the beard, has a beer in his hand, goes to the gym, takes care of himself. A lot of these posts on Reddit, these guys, they know the lingo, they know how to seem approachable, and then they're just spitting out whatever reason to get you to gamble. And that's what they want. Like, they don't care if you are investing with your life savings, your mom's savings, your savings to buy a house, car, get married, whatever. They don't give a fuck. Just want to make your money. They don't give a fuck about you. So always be aware of that. I think that's super important. And then if you still decide to do what you got to do, then, you know, it's a free world. You're allowed to gamble. So the first post I want to talk about is this one. Like, people love to draw stuff like, okay, BBBY has just begun. Swipe right to see what's to come 4 hours ago. Look at this shit. 1150 close by tomorrow? Question mark. Because right now the stock is at 1060. And then he's saying 30 plus by September 15. What the fuck are you talking about, my guy? What are you talking about? Why would you think the stock will not double, not 2x, but 3x practically in the next 30 days? Why? Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. But people see this shit. A lot of people see this shit, and they'll be like, oh wow, the guy drew a chart. Like, the chart says, the chart's pointing up and it's pointing to $30. Like, maybe it's gonna happen. Like, maybe it's possible. And I just find it annoying that people can be easily convinced. But the world works like that. There's schemers everywhere trying to convince vulnerable people, gullible people to do anything so that they can make a quick buck. That shit pisses me off. So someone's like, yo, you dropped a perfectly straight line of coke on the street. Yo, you dropped a perfectly straight line of coke on the street, because that's what this motherfucker, that's what this guy did. He said, oh yeah, you know, $10 today, maybe $11 tomorrow, maybe $30 in 30 days. Like, anything is possible. Guys, definitely on some kind of drugs. Then the next comment. Copium plus hopium. I sure hope you're right though. Honestly feels like it did for GME. I bought it around 15, held to 45. Would have been a millionaire if I had more timing. I mean, that's me too. I mean, I remember GME. I remember when people were pitching that shit at $10, $15. I was like, this is stupid. But then everybody started piling into it. And I remember I bought options. I bought call options, and I knew I was gambling. I knew 100% I was gambling. And I dropped $2,000 on the call options for GME to be past something dumb like $60 or $80. And in literally an hour, I was up to, I was up to 20 something grand. So $2,000 became like 20 something grand in less than 2 hours. And for me, it was like, yo, no brainer, easiest money I ever made. Pull the fuck out. And I pulled it out. Obviously, if I was busy at work or some shit, it was a Friday. I remember if it was a Friday. If I was busy at work and I didn't have time to do it, and I held it till like next Monday or Tuesday, I would have been up like 200 grand. But me being the fucking idiot I am, I didn't. I just said, yo, fuck it, 20 grand, easy breezy, let's go, you know. And I pulled it. And you know, it's possible that if a million people, if suddenly everyone in Wall Street bets is convinced, and everyone's like, yeah man, we all apes, let's fucking go, and everybody starts buying the stock, then obviously demand is going to outstrip supply. And what does that mean? That means prices are going up. So it could definitely happen. Anything can happen, but it's hard for me to believe. I mean, let me try to get an idea, like how many shares are even circulating. There's, what was that? Oh yeah, I used to go on Finviz. That was the website, Finviz. So you go here, BBBY. Finviz is a really good website, and it gives you like a lot of technical details. Let me make my face a bit smaller here. Okay, so let me zoom in a little bit. Bang, bang, bang. All right, so you could see, it gives us some details that there should be a place where it tells us how many shares are in circulation. Okay, the volume is this much. Shares outstanding 79 million. Shares that are floating 68. There you go. So there's 68 million shares floating, right? And I don't know if it's all just retail shareholders holding it, or if it's institutions or whatever. I mean, I can also find that out too. Okay, fine. Let's go find out. There was this website that I always used to go to. Where is it? Fuck. Can't find it right now. But anyways, so let's just say hypothetically, okay, if these 68 million shares are held all by retail shareholders, and then you got like 12.4 million users on Wall Street Bets, and all of them, let's say 10 million, all buy shares. Everybody buys 10 shares. Then 10 million people buying 10 shares means 100 million shares are purchased, right? And then if 100 million shares are purchased, but there's only 68 million shares floating around, then obviously the price is going to go up as the shares move through hands, because there's demand for 100 million shares, because you got 10 million people wanting to buy 10 shares. There's a demand for 100 million shares, and then the price steadily goes up. Now, if suddenly you have 10 million people wanting to buy 100 shares, then obviously that's going to put even more pressure on the price. So this is where like people say, oh, okay, you know, there's a lot of theories about it. Like, oh, there's a lot of short sellers, people who short sell. What they typically do is they borrow stock from their banks, and then they dump it on the market. They dump it right away. So let's say they borrow it from the bank at 10 bucks a pop. They dump it on the market. They get 10 bucks, but they still owe the bank that stock. They still owe it. The bank's like, yo, that stock's not mine. I borrowed it from Jat. I need to give it back to Jat. So I'm keeping an eye on you. You need to send me that stock back ASAP. And what a short seller hopes is that the stock, okay, I dumped it at 10 by borrowing it. If that shit drops enough to like $6, I'll buy it back from the market at 6, and I'll give it back to the bank. And the bank could say, oh, here you go, Jat, your stock is still there. And then I made a $4 profit from 6 to 10. Now, when things start to get interesting is when the stock, you dumped it at 10, you borrowed it, you dumped it at 10, but then suddenly the stock is at 15 or $20. Then the bank starts getting a bit nervous. It's like, oh shit, like, you know, the stock price is going up. Can this idiot that I lent the share to, who dumped it on the market, does he have the ability to buy it back and give me back those shares? Because Jat is going to want to dump it sooner or later, you know? Or Jat's going to want to take it and lend it to somebody else or whatever it might be. But Jat's going to want to do something. So I need to make sure that the borrower who short sold the stock, who borrowed it from the bank, dumped it, has the capacity to buy it back So imagine you buy something, right? Like, let's say you're fucking anybody, you only have $15 to your name, and you borrow the stock at 10, you dump it, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna cover when it's at 5. You know, when it drops to $5, I'll buy it back, give it back to the bank, and I'm gonna be up $5. You know, dumped it for 10, buy it back at 5, give it back to the bank. But then remember, you only have $15 to your name. But then if suddenly the goddamn stock is not at 10, you dumped it at 10, but now it's at 30, and you only have $5 to your name, you're down $25. And if the bank knows you're down $25, you better believe they're gonna call you up, make you sell all your shit, and buy back that stock so that they can give it back to the original lender of the shares. So that's what they say, like, is a short squeeze. So if everybody starts buying the stock and the stock starts pumping, then obviously everybody who's in that ride while the stock is pumping, and remember, it's a compound effect, right? Like, let's say the hype, right? You have 10 million people trying to buy the stock, whatever. And then you have the guys who borrowed and dumped it on the market for their short sell plan. Those guys are also trying to buy back from the market so that they can give it back to the bank, so they can give it back to the lender. So then it's like a compound effect, and everyone's rushing towards the gates, and then the stock just rips up. And at the end of the day, don't forget, the market could stay irrational longer than a rational person can stay solvent. So it's very possible that stock can go up to like 20, 30, 40, 50, whatever it is. And then if it's just all these idiots, all the 10 million people who bought it, and they're all holding the shares, and they're like, oh, now what? Like, is it going to go any higher? But it's not, because the demand has suddenly dropped. You know, the 10 million people who wanted to buy bought. The short sellers who needed to buy back the shares to give it back to the bank have bought. Now you just have 10 million people holding the stock, and it's just like, oh, now what? You know, like, what do I do? If those people suddenly, all it takes is one guy. If one guy says, yo, fuck it, I should just sell it at this price, you know, because I don't think it's going any higher. That guy exits, then the other guy exits, and then suddenly the stock price just starts collapsing. And that's how pumps happen and then dumps happen. It happens so fast. And some people, you know, who get into it, they say, yeah, don't worry, I got this, you know, I'm going to put a stop loss, you know. So let's say BBBY, it's at $10. You say, yeah, I'm going to buy it tomorrow at $10. I'm going to put a stop loss at 9. But it's very possible that you buy it tomorrow at 10, it goes up to 12, then the next day it's at 8. It just opens at 8. That's it. You're screwed. Because somebody dumped pre-market, it's at 8. Then you don't get your 9. Your 9 never gets filled, but you have a sale outstanding, and it will never get filled at 9. So that's like the risk you take with super volatile stuff like this. And I really don't know. I wouldn't encourage it. I would only tell people who have like really stupid money and who enjoy gambling to play at their own risk. But if you're gonna gamble, call up your homies, go to the casino, have a few drinks, have fun, get out of the house. Don't do this shit. It's like the degenerate stuff. So, oh yeah, I'm gonna check this out later. So here, someone's actually asking a question, like, who's holding the line? This week was crazy, many ups and downs, but the thesis stays intact. So this is someone who has their theory. BBBY has many problems: cash burn, mismanagement of inventories, inefficient marketing strategy, underdeveloped online selling channels. However, it is no wonder that Ryan Cohen acquired a large stake at prices way higher than today. The company definitely has untapped potential and could prove to be a success story in the long term. The fuck you talking about, bro? You're talking about Bed Bath & Beyond. Like, what are you talking about? It's fucking Bed Bath & Beyond, bro. Bed Bath & Beyond. Bed Bath & Beyond. Like, what are you talking about? Great success story in the long term. Like, what? Buy candles and hand soap? What the? What are you talking about? But anyways, they have physical assets that are valued at billions of dollars, nationwide brand recognition, and most importantly, they have separate brand business that they own that by itself could be worth more than the whole company. By baby, by itself generated more than 1 billion in sales with 50% generated online. The high short interest and the meme investing craze started by GME is just a cherry on top. Having said that, I'm well aware of the fact that the gains might not come very soon. I'm prepared to handle the volatility. Of course, when you say all that shit in the front, you got a good person, a good salesperson would adjust the pros and the cons. So he's doing that, which is good. A near-term potential catalyst is expected to update at the end of August from management about the company's current condition. The steps they have taken for restructuring. Bro, they're fucking restructuring. What the? How? Why is anyone putting their money into this? You gotta be cracked, okay? Nevertheless, as a European guy, I'm seeing a lot of retail investors from Europe having an interest in BBBY, and I can assure you that a lot of us are ready to diamond hand our shares alongside bros across the ocean. Investing is in a business like BBBY that is struggling to say the least is extremely risky and is not recommended for people who have moderate to low risk tolerance. Investing in low risk. Wow, this guy, yeah. Good conclusion. See top comment here. What does these top comments say? Got a measly 51 shares at $9 holding until the moon. Good luck. I'm holding and will probably buy more. Not so much to make money. It's for the ape that's going to fuck a watermelon if it gets to 15 by Friday. And the guy that's going to eat a bottle of hot sauce on something if it gets 40 by end of month. These apes need our support. The fact that it's still holding its own under these conditions enough to keep me hopeful. I will not sell anytime soon. I'm still in 2,000 shares, 11.11. 24.50, 11.77. Okay, so a lot of people are holding shares in the stock. Like, okay, I gotta look into this now. Market cap is 650 mil. They lost 900. Yo, these guys are fucking stupid. Yo, market cap is 650 mil, but the company lost $900 million close to. Get the F out of here, my guy. Get out of here. Okay, wait, let's see. BBBY. Let's go on the investor relations page. I'm sure they have one. Bang, bang. Okay. Q1 22 investor presentation. Let's look at the results. First quarter results ending May 28th. That came out June 29th. Sweet. This came out like a month ago. And what happened to the stock when it came out? Oh my God. What happened? I need to stop swearing. Okay, so June 29th. Oh, so at June 29th, it was already like pretty much beat up. It was at $5. No, that's July. Oh, it kept going down. Okay, whatever. Like most things in the market. Okay, June 29th. Net sales, 1.5 billion. That's impressive. Comparable sales, 23%. So down 23% compared to prior period. Margin of 23%. So for every $1 billion, they're supposed to make profit of 240 million. Q1 adjusted gross margin. Aggressive actions on inventory, cost, and capex. So 3 months ended for first quarter. Gap is important. It's good to know the difference between GAAP and adjusted. GAAP means generally accepted accounting principles, which means everybody has to follow the same rules and present things the same way. So this is standardized. Like you can compare Bed Bath & Beyond to another retailer, and if they're following GAAP, like IFRS GAAP or whatever, or US GAAP, it's the same principle. Like they're presenting everything the same way. They're following the same standards. All right, so 1.4 billion, 358 million lost $4 per share. Okay. This chief executive officer left. Net sales declined 25% compared to prior period. Buy baby comparable sales down mid-single digits. Market share remained stable. Cash flow from operations, they lost about $400 million from operations, so they're burning $400 million. Fiscal 2022 outlook. I think sales will recover in the second half of fiscal 2022 versus first half, driven by inventory optimization and small clearance activities. Capital expenditures of 300 million, down from 400 million. So that's good. And let's look at the numbers. Net sales, 1.4, 1.1, margin 340, SG&A 630, god damn. 26, operating loss 339 million. Wow, down 339 million. That's not very good. And then weighted average number of shares, basic outstanding 79. I think it's in thousands. In thousands, except per share data. What? So they only have 79,000 shares? 79,000 shares outstanding? No way. There's no way in hell it's that low. But that's what the math says. Oh. Except per share data. Oh, yeah. 79 million shares outstanding per share data. It's only this part. Okay. Let's look at their assets. This is super important. Cash. They only have 100 million in cash. Look at this shit. 1 billion in cash in 2021, dropped to 439, and now they only have 100 million in cash. Yo, are you kidding me? And they have 1.7 billion in stock. If they go bankrupt, people are just going to give them like pennies on the dollar for that. Look at their liabilities. Oh my god. $2 billion in liabilities. Current liabilities. But they only have 100 million in cash and 1.8 billion in stock. Like, this company is an absolute mess. It's an absolute mess. I should not be giving anyone any advice. You're smart to make your own goddamn decisions. But me personally, there's absolutely no damn reason to invest in this company at all. Okay? They had 1 billion in cash last year. Now they have 100 million in cash this year. Inventory is more or less the same. 1.6 billion last year, 1.7 billion now. Look at their goddamn liabilities. 2 billion in liabilities. 800 million in accounts payable. 549 in accrued expenses. That just means they got shit, but they didn't get the invoice yet. That is really, it's a huge red flag. And that's just current. God damn, like, I don't even need to look at this. I don't even need to look more than this. Like, and they borrowed 200 million. Yo, these guys are, yo, the writing is on the goddamn wall. I'm telling you. So now I said that, when you add that business context, that financial context to the fucking gambling, the speculation that's going on, it is absolutely ridiculous. Like, this guy here, he's on crack. Like, the top comment, you drop the perfectly straight line of coke on the screen. This guy gets it. This guy gets it, because there's absolutely no reason for this to go to $30. There's absolutely zero reason. Zero reason. And the stock, it's worth $850 million. Like, people, the price that it's trading at based on the number of shares outstanding is saying that this company is worth 850 million. How could you say this stock is worth 850 million? They lost 300 million last year. They have only 100 million in cash, and they have over 2 billion in debts. They have a bunch of stock at 1.7 billion. We don't even know how old it is, if it's been written off or not, and I don't really care. But this is like probably overpriced already. And if these guys are desperate, then sharks are going to be swimming around. You know, sharks can smell blood. They're going to be like, yo, even if you want to unload all of this shit, I'll buy it from you at like 20 cents on the dollar. Go F yourself. I'm not giving you your full price or whatever you think the stock is worth. You know what I mean? So it is something to think about. You know, they only make 20% margin or 23% margin. So if this is worth, let's round this up, it's 2 billion in cost, but they were going to chop it on the retail market to make 20% margin. for 2.4 billion, then no one's gonna give them 2.4 billion. Someone's probably gonna give them like a fraction, you know. So I don't know. I'm not getting good vibes from this, and I only say this because every time I throw money in anything, it's all about, am I ready to be a bag holder? Even if I'm gambling, I just go to casino. So if you're investing in BBBY, yo, you gotta know what you're getting into. Don't just do it because you wanna, you know, you think this is gonna be promising, and Ryan Cohen or whatever his name is bought a stake at a higher value. Smart people who are rich, like, you need to understand this. People who are rich are not always smart. There's tons of very intelligent, competent people, and they're not rich. But there's a lot of very rich people who are very stupid. And just because they're throwing money around, or people are inviting them to get involved or whatever, it doesn't mean that the company's going somewhere. You know, that's all I have to say. Like, don't just invest because you're a fan of XYZ person and they're going to suddenly do something. That is a very stupid way of investing. It's like being a sheep, and you shouldn't be a sheep because sheep get slaughtered. I don't know if that's the right expression. Sheep get slaughtered or pigs get slaughtered, but whatever. Do not be a sheep. You know, you gotta be able to think for yourself and make the decisions that are best for yourself and your wallet, because you work very hard for that money. And when you put that money to work, you want it to go execute and bring back more dollars. You want it to bring back more prisoners of war, whatever. You want it to work for you. You don't want to blow that money up because you listened to some crackhead on Wall Street Bets who said stock is going to 25 or whatever, because these guys most likely have bought their positions at 5, 6, 7 and are just trying to unload it off of you. That's it. And then they're going to go on vacation. You know what I mean? So that's all I have to say. I hope it wasn't too formal, but if you like what I said and you want to, want me to look at other stocks or whatever and just give you my commentary that might help you see things in a different light, and then you can make your best decision, then let me know. Drop a comment. If you're investing in BBBY, tell me why you're doing it, and let's stay in touch. I'll see you on the other side. Peace.